there.
What, the cameras?
Yeah, we're talking to us, so.
I don't even care.
All right. Everybody, welcome to Tuner Talk. We've got my friend Kyle Brown here. He's famous for his Black Supra on YouTube and other places. If you want to check him out at Black Widow Supra. My friend Nelson, he's our resident car guy for the night. Basically, we're going to talk about YouTube and the effect of the automotive world, how YouTube affects it. He has a YouTube channel, so he's, basically we met a while back at a couple of shows, and he's two-stepping his Supra and making me deaf throughout the show, so that's part of that.
Blew out a couple of iPhone speakers.
But since you do this and you've been doing this for a while and you're coming up in it, and, like we've worked with YouTubers, several YouTubers over the years. What do you feel is changing? Like, do you feel that the automotive world is being affected in any way by YouTube videos?
To an extent. Growing up in the car world before YouTube, it was you couldn't find a place. You couldn't find a meet. You'd have to meet somebody with a car and go out to meets. Now with YouTube, people see where all these locations are. They learn these spots, and these guys come out here with their cars, and a lot of them act like they know what they're talking about when in reality, they technically don't. And they show themselves on camera and they try and teach people how to do things. My opinion is most of the time it's the wrong way to do it, because the way a shop would do something is completely different than how a normal YouTuber would do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, you've got guys like Obsessed Garage,
okay,
where he is obsessed and very OCD,
right,
and his video length is however long the video takes, and he shows everything.
Okay.
And he's very detailed and articulate. You've got other videos where you can tell that the person doing the video is learning with you.
Okay.
Is the best way I could put it.
Right.
As you go. And then there's die-hard YouTube videos, which are do-it-yourself videos, which, I just fixed my vacuum cleaner last week by watching a YouTube video.
Okay. Right.
So there's, and they're all good, and they all have an audience and a need.
Right.
But the problem that I've seen is that the automotive world isn't really the YouTube automotive world.
No, it's not.
Nelson and I are a little older, so it's like when you look at, you come up with things like, Pimp My Ride, which was, how to do it wrong, and then stuff that, yeah, and you do, yeah, and then, but guys came out of that and do a really good job. There's, what's the company that does it? Remember?
Up in New York, there's a couple of guys.
Up in New York.
Wasn't it West Coast Customs?
West Coast Customs
Customs
came out of that, and they do amazing stuff. They've come a long way, and everybody's got to start somewhere. But you see the crowd that you're trying to do that also on a schedule. We're going to build this thing in 3 days, but then you see Chip Foose, who's got a week to build a car for overhauling, and the car comes out and needs to go to SEMA 5 seconds later because it's flawless.
Correct.
So I mean, everybody has a different style. YouTube doesn't really affect the industry because they're still going to build their cars, and they're more about longevity and the car's lasting, art, and the way the car looks. But you come into shows like Roadkill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can look at that as an automotive show. Yes, there's cars in it,
right?
But it's entertaining. It's like car building and like Jackass at the same time.
Right.
It's funny and it's incredibly entertaining to watch. And
right.
I'd love to take some beater car through a puddle at 70 miles an hour with the water shooting through the wheel wells.
It's like any Top Gear episode when they just buy an old beater car and take it
Sure.
to hell.
Sure.
Those are so good videos.
But it's the downside is some people think that's the way shop cars are built, and that's not it. That's how shop cars are built, sitting out in a field with duct tape and baling wire, and it needs to go on.
Right.
I mean, if you look at the automotive industry, and then you look into the film business, everything's planned in every movie, every car jump and stunt, and the cars. This car jumped a bridge. No, one of 7 cars jumped a bridge. The car you see at the end is not the same car.
I personally feel that YouTube, people aren't following the car. Like, say for instance, a famous YouTuber has, let's pick a car. Let's take a Honda Civic, because it's the most known import on the planet. This YouTuber has a Honda Civic. Well, people aren't going to follow him because of his Honda. They're going to follow him because of his antics, because of the things he does,
Right.
because of the character, the kind of person he is, the things he does with the car. The titles are always a grabber. So say I took my Honda Civic and I shot a rocket out of the exhaust at a parking lot. Well, you can get 100,000 views on a video like that. Versus the guy who has, let's say this guy has an R34. It's a very iconic car from Too Fast, Too Furious, from overseas, Japan, here. In the United States, it's a big thing. Guy has an R34. I drove through, going through drive-thrus in my R34. It's probably going to get 20,000 views.
4 million.
Really?
Yeah. We had Roman Atwood came down when Black Ops was a big thing, and all he wanted to do when I met him was,
Right.
I really want to borrow one of your Skylines and go through a drive-thru and video it.
It's fun.
And he went, and there's millions of views.
It's fun.
Yeah, we did a whole photo series at one point called JDM: The Struggle Is Real.
Okay.
And we put like S15s at toll booths, and we took Skylines and put them at ATMs, and just anything that would be awkward to do in a right-hand drive car.
Me and a good friend of mine actually took the Skyline and we went through a toll booth, and because we did not have a sun pass, because we're in sunny Florida, I actually had to rip the e-brake and flip it around.
Nice.
It was very scary.
Yeah. Well, you just got one. You just got.
I did.
You just got a
I did.
34.
I did. I bought a GTT 34.
What's funny is when we were selling them all the time, I used to tell customers all the time, the first thing you need is an e-pass. Or one of those little tong things that you get from your grandmother to get the boxes off the shelves. And they look at me like I'm crazy. You need to put the toll money in it and hand it out to the toll collector. But now, toll by plate. But getting to Roman, I mean, Roman is hilarious. Like, to sit in a room with him, it's hilarious. Like, when we shot the video, I was like laughing the whole time.
Right.
But cars are just part of what he does. He's an entertainer.
That's
and
what
he goes on and, now you look at stuff like the big scale entertainment guys like, Jay Leno has always been a big car guy. He had a car collection, a couple hundred cars. He did talk shows, but the cars were his hobby. I think when he retired from the Tonight Show, if I'm not mistaken, he said, they asked him why he was retiring, and he says, I need to spend more time with my cars. So,
Jay Leno's a huge car guy. I've actually met Jay a couple of times.
Jay's a great guy. Yeah,
Phenomenal individual.
He said to me one time, he said, I have all these cars because I only have one wife. So, yeah. But he has an army of guys that make sure that every car he has is flawless. Every car, that he could get in any of those hundreds of cars, fire it up and go for a ride that day. And you could just probably, I've never been to his shop yet. Hopefully he'll give me an invite one of these years, but
It's a very hidden facility.
it is. I know where it is. I've actually been there, but it's never been there. But it's, you could probably go, I want to drive to that. And he'll go, okay, and walk over and he'll just fire it up and go.
Yep.
But you look at other shows that talk about the automotive industry, and they're leaning towards doing it quick, not doing it right.
Well, also what I've noticed is a lot of people do copycatting. I've learned that, doing YouTube, I've learned not to copycat people, because if you make a video that someone else made, well, now how are you going to be better than the original?
You got to set yourself apart.
Exactly.
Right.
You have to do something that's different. You have to do something that not, Joe Schmo over here is doing. Like, for instance, my favorite YouTube video, taking my car to CarMax to see what it's worth. Every YouTuber did that video.
Right.
Every single one. Everyone asked me, why don't you take the Black Widow? Why don't you take the Black Widow? Why don't you take the Black Widow to CarMax? And I'm like, because it's already been done. What's the point?
Because if you did that, you'd be Doug DeMuro.
Exactly. I'd be the same thing as all the other characters.
I mean, I remember when Doug DeMuro drove his R32 to CarMax, and then he drove it to a Nissan dealer, and he was complaining about how no one really cared. And I'm like, what Nissan dealer on earth did you go to with a Skyline where no one cared?
We took the 34 to Nissan because I wanted to find out if they actually could get me parts from Japan, and I drove through the service department. I'm not going to kid you.
And they lost their mind.
Every technician came out, one dude even dropped a snap-on torque wrench, like a half-inch torque wrench, dropped it on the floor and came out with his phone, ripping his phone out of his pocket to take pictures. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. My friend Lori was in the car, and she was just like,
When you told me you're getting this car, what did I say? I said, get ready for the roller coaster ride. Because we at one point we took an R32, an R33, and an R34 to a clean culture event in, I think it was West Palm Beach. And we were driving up the highway, 3 cars abreast. I had my NSX and everybody else was driving those cars. And I had like opened it up and taken off. And apparently an FHP police officer flew up behind everybody, panicked everybody, pulled up next to the R34, which was a 1 of 6 Doluck. Pulls up next
that was
to
the blue
it.
one, right?
The blue one.
That was beautiful.
Pulls up next to it, and Christian, the guy that was working for me at the time, looks over at him. The guy waves at him, takes out his phone, and takes a picture as he drives by and takes off. And it's like, you can't. The stories that go with it, we have them. We've had them for years, and you have the guys that adore them and kind of sit in it, and you got to share the experience. But there's also these people that they can't get them, and they hate you for it, and they hate you. You probably get the same thing with the Supra guys. Are just
you have hate and you have love at the same time. I don't get as much hate.
Fortunately, not in balance.
Well, yeah, no. When it comes to it, I don't get as much hate for my Supra because I'm open with it. I'm like, hey, you want to sit in it? You want to feel it? You want to experience it? This is what Paul Walker felt when he was driving with Vin Diesel down PCH racing that crappy Ferrari. All right, this is it.
We drove 2 V-Specs down all the way from New York, all the way down here.
I heard
on
about
a
that
road
story.
trip.
That was with what's his face?
Yeah, and we got pulled over. We didn't get pulled over. We pulled over to a gas station in Virginia, I believe, and there was a police officer in the gas station just sitting there in his cruiser, and we all got out and get gas, and he walks over to us and he goes, "Are those things real?" Like he had seen some apparition,
Right.
and I'm like, "Yeah," and he goes, and he's talking to us about it, and 5 minutes of conversation. I just bought a Sylvia and imported it from Japan. Da, 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 da. I love it. I drifted. I saw it. And he's like, "Can you pull on the road and let me put my police cruiser behind you with the lights on? I just want to tell everybody at the barracks I just pulled 2 GTRs over." And we set the picture up for him.
That's awesome.
But it's the negative isn't always the negative.
Well, the other thing I like about the car world and YouTube that has done it has brought multiple people that weren't into cars just by the characters of people that they're watching on YouTube. Like, so for instance, a lot of BMXers, a lot of skateboarders, a lot of the scooter kids, a lot of these kids grow up watching these YouTubers. For instance, Tanner Fox, he's got a crazy following of kids. Some of them are old enough to drive now. Now they're all going out and getting their cars and wanting to modify them and wanting to do it the right way, and they see how all these kids are doing it, and it's really breeding.
It's inspirational for them.
Right, it's really breeding like a new breed. Now, there are negative effects to it. So, for instance, not going to name any names, but the California car scene, it has gotten out of hand. Without a doubt,
Sure.
It has gotten ridiculously out of hand with the takeovers. And when we went to car meets, we'd park our cars, we'd stand in front of it, maybe go up inside, get something to eat, come back out and hang out with the cars and talk to people.
You had your crew.
You had your crew of people, and
You
different
roll in
crews.
together, you roll out together. Yeah.
Everyone kind of drove through. There wasn't really a lot of revving. There was maybe a little here and there because there was some hothead there.
There's always
Exactly.
like you're saying. There's always a negative.
Nobody did burnouts. You didn't really do a burnout at a car meet, especially at a local spot.
Because you wanted to be able to
regularly.
come back to that spot.
Exactly.
Right.
You didn't do donuts.
Yep.
It's
like all these Mustang videos, all these cars of leaving car shows,
Yeah,
they're just
exactly.
losing control. That didn't happen before.
You know what I said recently I thought was funny is I'm a big fan of rally, of Group B.
You talking WRC style?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of that. And what I think is hilarious is I think less people have been hit and injured in Group B,
Right.
standing on the side of the road, than at a California car.
Right. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
And it's like, and it's not okay. It's not the car. I think it's the bigger picture is culture. So,
Right.
like for example,
I think it's car show etiquette.
I think
It's kind of gone by the wayside.
life etiquette.
I think it has.
Fair enough, yeah. Because
Okay.
when did it become okay to just
Not-
do this crazy crap on the roads?
Yeah,
Entitlement.
not to get into the let's blame the millennials
No.
perspective. but
Entitlement.
yeah.
Entitlement. It's the fact. It's the abuse of authority for one. It's the fact of no respect for authority. You'll hear every kid nowadays say "F the cops, F the pigs." Oh, that's not right. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? It's because when they ask you to do something, you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to say, "Yes, sir," even if you feel it's wrong.
Also part of it is when I was growing up and getting into cars, and I learned how to drive in a '72 '72 Toyota Corona.
Okay.
Okay, so
The cars of today are different.
terrifying. But back then, every guy in your family did something to their own car. They did their own tune-ups, they did their own oil changes.
Yep.
So you, as a kid, beep this big, was under the car with dad or next to the car with dad, and dad would teach you about cars. Now these kids, the first time his parents have any time at all to even talk to them about cars is the day that they buy their 16-year-old car their first car.
Right. And it's usually
Or taught him how to drive.
It's usually a 400 horsepower
It's
Mustang.
400 horsepower
That's a bad
GT
first car,
Mustang.
you know, you're gonna-
Oh, and in the defense of that, a lot of those guys crashing are mature people let loose.
Yeah.
But
Of course.
But I mean, the entitlement part of it is granted as well. But they see things that, like what I found funny, and you'll come to experience is everyone's going to walk up to you and go, "Is that 1,000 horsepower in that Skyline?" Because they think every Skyline has
Right.
a bazillion horsepower,
Yeah.
and it's not true.
No.
They think that they think that the funniest thing is that working in the movies or working with everything from commercials to production. It's Hollywood.
Right.
It's bull. It's smoke and mirrors.
Right.
Cars don't. I say cars don't jump bridges. Superman can't really fly, and James Bond doesn't always get the girl. It's fantasy, and it's supposed to be fantasy. And if it's done right, it's entertaining.
And I think a lot of people have trouble either differentiating it or really knowing that it's all fluff. Some people buy it.
Well,
You know,
you're also in a time when people think they actually have 1,500 friends because
Correct.
Facebook said so.
Right, and
Right.
Instagram and Facebook, and everybody is always taking pictures of their car at certain angles, and,
Right.
and YouTubers do it alike too.
And
I have to put a picture of my car every day on Instagram to get the likes, to
Sure.
get the followers, to get the this, and I say,
But
hey, go
there's-
check out the YouTube channel.
But there's a point where, like you were saying earlier, certain YouTubers, it's a business,
It is,
and that's
Really
fine,
is.
and I respect that. And you look at people that are consistent, like my friend Adam. Like he posts, you can set your watch to it. I mean, if he doesn't, you want to call him and say, "Did you die?"
You're talking about LZ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's consistent and he's very professional, and his videos have good content. He's always looking for something new. But the thing with that is, it's a business.
But Adam also takes profit that he makes from YouTube and puts it back into his
absolutely.
YouTube.
Well, any good businessman will reinvest in their company.
110%.
But
I agree with you.
you know, and his production value gets better. You look at Obsessed Garage; the
course.
production value is
Right.
great.
How many people have a lift in their garage?
If anyone has
wish.
seen videos from Petrolicious, if they haven't, they need to look it up right now and watch every Petrolicious video ever.
I did watch one of those
Because
episodes.
you just sit there and go, "Oh God, I want that car," and it's not even a car you really want, but
Right.
you're just like, "Wow, it looks like it's soaking wet,
I
gorgeous."
saw the episode of him going to get Forza and driving in his Lamborghini. It was first person driving his Lamborghini, goes in, buys the game, puts it in, puts it on the side, drives the Lamborghini home, races home, gets home, takes the Xbox out, rips everything apart, rips the car apart, and then he gets in his car and he starts playing Forza in his own Lamborghini in his own garage on a big like projection screen. It was the funniest thing I
But
ever
I
saw.
mean, it's a beautiful quality.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine from years back. Some of the older guys will know him. His name's Dustin Warless, and he had a company called Techademics.
Okay.
He still does, and he did all the Bull Run videos, and he did all the Cannonball stuff, and the Mischief video series, which is, I think, to this day still the most money-making video series, automotive video series
Matt
ever.
Ferrera did the Bull Run as well, right?
Yeah, like a lot of people have done that stuff, but he would go out and video it, and he had like this. His friend had an M3, yellow M3, and they were like epically famous for it.
Oh,
But
I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
you meet these people through your life, and you go to car shows, and then you go to international auto shows, and you go to SEMA for 18 years or whatever, and you see as things come out. But what's funny is, in the last 3 years, I can't tell you how many people I see walking around SEMA with a camera in their face. And I get it, but I know a lot of people, I don't personally care, but I know a lot of people in the industry kind of take affront to that because it's a trade show. It's about coming there, it's about doing
Right.
business.
Right.
And the whole thing about SEMA was, if you don't go to SEMA, you're not a player in the game.
Right.
So you had to be credentialed in, you had to have a reputation.
Right.
Now it's almost like you got in and somebody's having fun. it's no big deal to get in now.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's still not easy to get in, but you see all these guys walking around with the camera in their face and vlogging and stuff and shooting it.
And I think that also falls under, and maybe etiquette's the wrong word, but it also falls under those rules haven't been written yet because it's so new. People think it's okay,
that makes a good point.
And the people that are in there that earn their keep, that are actual players, take offense to it because this is a trade show, like you said before.
Sure.
And I think that's
It's not a car show.
But if you look at the thing is,
exactly,
like
No,
we're
it
saying,
is.
YouTube personalities. Whatever you're doing, I don't care if you're water skiing or snow skiing or into cars or like Tanner's into scooters and now he's into cars, but he does 300 things. So the rules haven't been written because it's so new,
Right.
and it's up to the YouTubers to kind of make the rules. And if you look at people, one of the biggest reasons that I like David Pattison, Dude in Blue, is he calls it the way it is. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He says, this is what I think. You don't have to agree with my opinion, but here it is. My
Right.
opinion.
He's blunt.
He's blunt, and I think a lot of people respect him for it. There are a lot of YouTubers that have probably been around as long as he has that have more followers, and I kind of wonder if it's because people are sugarcoating and going for the, you have a lot of these videos which are clickbaity.
Yep.
Where it's like, I drove, if you put one out that says, I just drove my Supra off a bridge and lived, and then at the end, haha, I didn't do that.
Right.
Yep.
But I think
it's
you
quantity
lose.
over quality, right?
But a lot of people are just looking to be entertained for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and they don't care if you lie. I mean, it would bother me if a YouTuber lied perpetually to me on the
Just
video.
get me to click on it.
I did.
I'm gonna watch it anyway. I'm probably gonna watch it more if I respect you.
I don't even actually remember the one I did, but I did one video that was a clickbait type video. I can't remember what it was. I think a two-step next to a cop or something was what I put, or something stupid. Anyway, I didn't do it. It wasn't like.
Right.
I did kind of do it, but I didn't kind of do it. Like, it was just kind of like off in the back, and you just kind of saw it at the end of it, but you didn't get to see the actual effects or anything of whatever happened. And people were just so pissed at me. They messaged me. They're like, "Oh, you clickbaited me!" They were all mad about it, and I was just kind of like, "Okay, I'm not gonna do that again."
But the funny thing is, you talk to people that do this professionally, and they go, "But even the people who complain are still subscribed,
They're still clicking.
and they feel better that you read their dissent."
right.
My favorite thing about my followers is that they actually contact me. And I do it through Instagram, not just through YouTube. So when I get a message on YouTube on the comments, I'll get 100 comments. I'll read most of the comments, but some of the videos, one of my videos, it's not a lot of views, but one of my videos has I believe 150,000 views or something. I literally have to read 900 comments, and it's just kind of annoying. So I tell everybody from the get-go.
Yeah, but as you grow, it's gonna get
Right.
it's got to get to the point where you got to hire somebody to do that for
Do
you.
your best.
The Instagram, though, for me, I keep track of it because I'll get messages every day. I probably get about 900 messages a day, and I have a way to filter through my messages in order to answer real questions and real things.
Right.
And if it's just someone saying, "Oh, I love your car," I'll shoot them a heart. And I tell everybody in my lives, because I do lots of live streaming. So when I go Instagram live, I tell people, if I put a heart, it means I read your comment. It
Well,
means
it's like when I met you, I said, it's personality. Is the person just as nice in the videos as they are meeting them at a car show? And you were. And I've been lucky. A lot of people that I've met in the business are like that. They're cool people in real life. But it's I think there's a certain responsibility for, people disagree with me, sure, but there's a certain responsibility to being a YouTuber or presenting something, especially when it's such a well-loved thing like cars,
right,
to somebody, and try and do it the best way you can.
right,
I mean, shops, I'm not talking about repair shops. I'm talking about a building shop.
right.
It's going to, here's my car,
Right.
call me when it's 900 horsepower, that kind of thing. Titan, guys like that.
Gotcha.
If you walk in any one of those shops, any one of the big shops, the one thing you're never going to see is probably a YouTuber.
No.
I mean, and they're not videotaping it because no one wants to show you how they make the sausage.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's not so much trade secrets But there's things that are being done in these shops there's a way they do things, and you look at
It's
some of
quite
this stuff.
proprietary too, because
You look at some of this stuff.
chops up
It's
tissue.
art. It's an art. But there's a big difference between saying, "Here's my BMW M3. Please do an oil change or fix this,"
Right.
or saying, "Here's my BMW M3. Drop 2J in it and call me when it's done." Yeah. So I mean,
Wait,
but
E36 or E46?
46.
well, you gotta talk to them.
36. 36.
Because I love
Come
2Js
on.
too much to put them in BMWs.
What?
But
I think an E36.
I wouldn't do it either.
E36 with a 2J with a single turbo on a 35R with a welded rear diff.
but the thing is, so let's go off on a tangent.
For that, yes.
To the
Thank
car.
you.
46.
Thank you.
So now that you own two of the most desirable kind of god cars
Correct.
in the Japanese car world.
Technically 3, but yeah.
Okay. But you look at, with the Supra, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, every time you see a Supra, it's this pristine car rolling into a car meet, preferably off a trailer,
Yep.
and they push it over with little gloves on
I don't think I've ever
because
seen
the
one.
prices of Supras are going through the ceiling.
I haven't seen one on the road in
No, yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
my friend,
6 years
it's so gorgeous. I yell at him when he pulls out his car. But it's
actually the car show that we judged, and that was a stock one.
well, the red one.
You're
I don't
definitely
know.
not talking about mine.
No. But the thing is,
But yeah, you're right. They've gotten so
they
ridiculous.
become iconic. NSX the same way. You almost never see a
It's
car
like
mine
E30
where-
M3s, same thing.
Um,
They've gotten so ridiculous. They roll off of a trailer.
R34s, you have the whole conversation of how the hell did you get it.
What's the God status car? No
Yeah,
car of
it
today
is.
can do the things that those cars could do.
It's true,
Right.
and when
For less money.
when you
At
drive
at
you
the
drive an
weight.
R34 around and you pull into a parking lot,
Everyone drops it.
they actually play like the Bad Boys theme,
Right.
Bad Boys, because it's like and then it's the first police officer that rolls into the car meet that's like, can I look at it? But
It's
you know how
awesome.
Right.
You know how it is. But Supras, you're like, it would be like somebody going out, when I met you, the first thing I thought about was, wow, that's like somebody who just goes out and bought a brand new Veyron and cut the exhaust totally off the car
That would be me.
and, and put it on four-wheel drive and just rolled into the car meet and it was revving the engine.
Yep.
It was let's take this iconic car and just shove it in everybody's face and just make it obnoxious. There's no comparison to the guy with the Civic. Nothing against Civics. That it just doesn't work. I mean,
The Widow
you
is...
get guys that want me to rev my NSX or rev a Skyline up
Right.
or whatever, and it's the sound. We were talking about in one of our videos recently about the sounds that we love of cars, and some people like Lamborghini. And I said I don't care what it is as long as it's V10. Carrera GT, LFA, Gallardo.
It's a good
The
bunch.
sound. I'm not saying all the cars,
It's a good
but
bunch.
the sounds are just amazing to me.
Yeah.
But the Supra, the 2J, is
Uh,
iconic.
I think a
It
straight
is.
6 sounds amazing.
Sure.
Most V8s and
Most V8s kind of
V10.
sound the same.
Yes.
Unless you have a cam that says baseball bat. But
Sure.
yeah.
I'm actually not a huge fan. Like I love a good muscle car, a good American V8, but I prefer something with a flat plane crank, something European.
Sure.
It's got a neater sound, which is why the V10 is also upset because it's a very clean.
Whenever I go to a
neat-
car show, on rare occasions now because they're $1 million car now, but you see a Carrera GT, and the first thing I do is I walk up to the guy and I'm like, would you mind for 5 seconds just revving it? I'm not going to video you. I'm not going to do anything. Just let it warm up for 10 seconds and rev this sucker up. And they'll usually do it for you. And
Yep.
what's crazy is everybody's walking by this car like, oh, it's a Porsche. They don't
Right.
care.
It's a Carrera GT.
Until they
Right.
fire this thing up, and
Yeah,
then
and then
you
you,
couldn't,
like,
you
people's
couldn't
heads
fit a
snap.
piece of paper between the people that are
Right.
looking at it.
Yep.
It's a phenomenal car.
We had an event a few years ago at Festival Speed event over at down in Kissimmee, and a guy. We had the Doluk out there, we had my NSX out there, and we had this guy right next to us who had a MP412C McLaren that had 900 horsepower, fully built up car, and from 4 feet away, he was lighting the bushes on fire when he'd rev it. 4 feet away. Like, the people from the Ritz-Carlton had to come over and go, excuse me, sir. Nicest people in the world, they did. Excuse me, but you're literally lighting the foliage on fire, sir. But I mean, but you were just, here, look at my car, pop the hood, very, very social. And I think the guys that do that, the guys that are not trying to rub their fame or rub their money or rub their car or status in people's faces are the people that endear themselves to me, let alone everybody at a car show.
The Widow just isn't my car, though. That's what people don't understand. That's why people think that I'm always this nice guy that's very giving and all that. It's more than just that. I built the car to the spec that literally everybody would build the car. Meaning, every kid on Forza wants a blacked out Supra. They want the Supra with black wheels, full T37s. It's the most iconic wheel. We put it on the car. Every point of the car was strategically planned to make it look as mean and as aggressive as humanly possible, but be something that you could physically take to a car show and beat the shit out of, excuse my language, at a car show. Right. Rev it, burnouts, don't do everything that the car should be able to do that you see on all the YouTube videos.
People forget how tough those cars are.
Yeah.
They really don't care.
I'm still on the same turbo from day one. I've literally used the same turbo, and I probably two-stepped it. I couldn't even tell you. Probably over 100,000 times.
I wouldn't even want to count.
I literally, we put in a button so that way we could two-step it when the heck we wanted. I specifically designed the car to take and to share with people.
But it's the car experience. You're sharing the experience.
Right.
And I think like when I go to shows, people walk up to whatever I'm driving at the time, and they're like, and they're looking at it. I will walk up to people, usually young guys or whatever. I'm like, you ever see the inside of it? You ever see the engine? Yeah, it's like, and we had a kid. I don't remember how old he was anymore, but he walked up to us and he was talking about how he was telling his dad about the car from 10 feet away, and I'm like, how is this little 11-year-old whatever kid?
It was the 300ZX, right?
It was my NSX.
It was an NSX. Yes.
And he was like, oh, that's a 91, and that's got a 3-liter, and I'm like, I'm cocking my head, like, how does this? And I walked over to the kid's father, and I said, is he for real? And he goes, oh, you have no idea. and he's telling me, I asked him what he wanted for his birthday, and he gave me a nicely printed list of car magazines that he wanted, subscriptions to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this kid's like 40 in an 11-year-old body. But what's funny is, he walked over, he was looking at the car, and I said, you want to sit in it? And he looked at me, and he looked at his dad, like, is it okay? And his dad's like, if a gentleman is going to let you sit in his supercar, you say yes. And I put him in it, and I threw the steering wheel in, and I closed the door, and I said, you got a cell phone? He's like, yeah. He's like, give me your cell phone. I took a picture of him sitting in the car. It cost me nothing. Right. It cost me $0, and I got to bring one other person to the car.
I try and do that at least 10, 15 times every car show I go to.
And plus, you're always running around. Your kids running around with you. It's like.
Well, we have my best friend Lori. She has 2 kids, Squiggy and Ben. And we're
hilarious.
Yeah,
by the way.
We're building an actual Miata with them. Lori went out and bought them a Miata to build a miniature Widow, so it's gonna shoot fireballs and have like wide body kit and be all crazy. It's gonna be fun.
Happiest kids in the world.
It's gonna be, and they're gonna build it, which is gonna be the cool part. But not to get off topic, I've had people come up to me, and they're like, I don't feel famous. I don't feel like I'm a famous person. I like my cars. I'm into cars. I like going to car shows. I like filming videos. If people like to watch it, thank you. I'm thankful for it. Other than that, I just make them because I like making them. I haven't made dime one from YouTube, which is a true fact. That being said, when I go to car shows, people come up to me and they're like, "Oh my God, you're Black Widow," and it's like, "Yeah, what's going on, man? I'm Kyle," and I shake their hand. And what do you drive?
I still find it weird because we've been in so many, and it's like millions and millions and millions of views. And I personally tried. This series is the most I've ever been on camera in my life under my own. Yeah. So, but what's funny is you get people walk up to the airport. Oh, you're John from Black Ops, or you're in the Adam LZ video. You're in the Roman Atwood video, and I'm like, yeah. And they're just such nice people, and and it's not about, ooh, give me an autograph or anything like that. They just want to talk about the experience, or maybe they want to be a YouTuber. And I haven't, we don't even have, we're not monetized or anything.
You're going to laugh. I was driving, not even a week ago, I was driving from Tampa down to Fort Myers, dropping off a car for a friend. And I'm on my way back up with my truck and trailer. And I see a G35 pulled over on the side of the road. I come up to it, I'm slowing down. I'm probably doing 80 miles an hour. Slow down to about 20 miles an hour, get to pull over. My big truck.
Okay.
I've got a diesel Dodge Ram 25.
Yeah, I've seen the monster.
It's ridiculous. It's Indominus Rex. But
hopefully we'll take some pictures of it, put it on Instagram. It's pretty.
It's redonkulous. It's a 10-inch lift. 40-inch tire and all that crazy. It's
You
ridiculous.
need like a trampoline.
I mean,
to
yeah.
get
I can park the Supra
If you
under
get a
it.
truck, you have to look.
I can park the Supra under
You
it.
can let it
Anyway,
park the-
so I'm pulling. I'm pulling up, and I see that this dude's
You gotta
exhaust
take
is
a picture of
hanging. Right. So I pull over with the truck and trailer, and I stop. And in my truck, which is really cool because I have a Ram box, which is like a storage container in the bed. I keep a jack stands. I keep a wrench, ratchet, tools, some basic stuff, straps, tie downs, whatnot. So I pull my gloves out. I get out. I hop over to him. I say, "Hey, you need a hand?" He's like, "Yeah, my exhaust fell off." Mind you, young kid, 18 years old. Okay.
My exhaust.
On my
Listen.
Civic.
Listen. So the kid decided he wanted to cut his muffler off his car to make it louder. And the muffler shop decided it was the smartest thing in the world to weld the pipe up. So now the exhaust pipe is actually facing to the inside of the car, which is actually dangerous.
Right.
But it was facing to the
So he
truck.
unfortunately didn't pass out before this happened.
Right. Yeah.
So the muffler actually fell off because they left it on and it was hanging like this. And
Oh,
he
wow.
caught something in the road and it ripped. Jeez. So anyway, I ended up jacking up this guy's car and I'm looking underneath this thing and I'm like, their exhaust is going in your trunk. He's like, yeah, I have to go get it fixed tomorrow. I'm like, I wouldn't be driving this. The carbon monoxide is going to kill you. And anyway, so I jack up his car. I'm looking at it and I start pulling it off and I start going like this. And he's just staring at me. And I'm like,
Oh no.
yeah, and he's just staring at me doing it. And he's like, yeah, I've been doing that for 5 minutes. I'm like, and I just yank and the whole thing comes off. He's like, how'd you do that? I'm like, I just used my arms.
Yeah,
Popped
it was
the truck.
coming off anyway.
Popped the truck and he's like, you don't have a loud car, do you? I said, well, what gave you the impression I had cars? He's like, oh, you just look like somebody I know. I'm like, well, I have a Supra and a Skyline. He's like, his eyes lit up. And mind you, this is just someone I pulled off to the side of the road to help.
Yeah.
It's like, Black Widow? And
All right.
Yeah.
I couldn't get away from it. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm Kyle. He's like, holy crap. Oh my God, can I take a picture? So he wanted to take a picture and do all this other jazz. He was a really nice kid. And anyway, I told him, yeah, and he messaged me on Instagram to verify I was actually Black Widow. And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm the
Because
guy
you
that helped
lie
you on the
about
side.
it. Right?
Yeah, I'm the guy that helped you on the side of the road. He's like, oh my God, I love your cars, I love your stuff, da da da. And now I have another follower.
This was years back. We were I was coming back from a show, and I had to leave early, park the car, get it changed, and I had to fly the next day.
Mhm.
And I was driving back. I want to say it was somewhere on the West Coast. It was Tampa or something. It was like 3-4 years ago. And I'm coming back, and other people, people leave a show, and there's always this
Right.
mad march in 30 directions going on.
Right.
And there was this guy in a lowered, like Honda Civic Si. And I remembered seeing the car at the show.
Okay.
Like a 2000 Si.
Oh, the best one?
The blue. The car.
Yeah, the
Everybody.
best one.
If you say Civic, that's what people think of.
Right.
The Fast and the Furious
Electric
one.
blue. Yeah.
Right. So he's over on the side of the road. He's got a
That's
flat.
an EJ.
It is an EJ, you're
'Cause I
right.
had an EJ.
The 99 to 2000 was the one everybody wanted.
Yeah.
The EH, EK.
That was the one with the
Yeah.
good seats, and they had the
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the Si. It was like
Yeah.
it was the Si. When you say Si, everybody thinks of it.
What motor
Unless
was
it's
that?
Japanese.
Dual overhead cam.
It's the B16.
Was it yeah, that's.
So I
that's a
pull
different
over
engine.
behind him, and he's like under the car, and I didn't know what was wrong at first when I pulled up. I get out of the car, and I'm like, "What's up, man?" And he looks back and just sees the NSX sitting there, and he's like, "Who pulls over in an NSX
Right.
to help me on the side of the road?" And I'm like, he's like, "Oh, I got a flat." I says, "Well, you got a spare?" He goes, "Yeah, I got another tire in here I can put on." I'm like, he goes, "But I got no way to jack the car up." And I'm like, "All right." Went in the trunk of my car, pulled out my low profile, good old Harbor Freight,
The blue one?
I got like 4 of them. Right?
I still have mine from
Yeah,
when I was
yeah.
like 13 or
Yeah.
14 years old.
Threw it under the car, helped him change the tire. But here's the cool part: as we're changing the tire, people are seeing this NSX pulled over behind the Civic.
Right.
So every Honda
Yep.
coming back from the show starts pulling over. Are you all right, man? You're right, because my car was broke. I'm like, no, just help them change the tire. And they're like, what?
Right.
That was how it was.
And it was like 10 people, and everybody's hanging out there. Everybody's helping each other. And it's like, and the one guy looks at me and goes, man, it really doesn't matter what Honda it is. You're still like a Honda boy, right? And I was like, absolutely.
That's what it was. That's what it used to be.
Sure.
Today, I was in the Skyline. I blew a head gasket. Didn't know I blew a head gasket. The radiator cracked. I figured, whatever. So I called my friend Lori to go get my truck and trailer to come pick it up. So I got to take it to my shop. I was parked on the side of the road.
Time to go fast.
There must have been 100 tuners that went past me because they were all going to a show. Not a single person pulled over to ask me if I wanted help.
I'm used to that person pulled over.
Me too.
But I mean, do you think what you should have done is stood on the side of the road and been like, I'd like one a Supra, and everybody would pull the doors up.
Right.
But no, you're right. And you know what I think it is, and you're gonna laugh at me. I don't think half of those people know how to change a tire, or really help you.
And you might be right for the
But
most part. Yeah.
so I mean, I think in closing, I think we need to try to make sure that YouTubers are kind of at least trying to do it right.
I agree.
Especially when it comes to cars, because if you do it wrong, I mean, roadkill's fun to watch, like I said.
Right.
But if they think you can take the wire from the starter or whatever and duct tape it
It's
to the frame,
dangerous. You can hurt yourself and others.
You could,
for sure.
you could lose your
Yeah.
life very easily. And it's in the biggest thing with building a car that I know you do this, and you don't just jump in your car. Neither do I to go to a show. You check the tires, you check the pressures, you make sure everything works.
Yeah.
These guys just jump in and go.
I've missed my fair share of car shows because I'm like, oh, that's broken. Okay, not going that.
Yep. Do you know what
Yeah.
it takes? Do you know what it takes to even get the widow from the shop to a show? It takes 15 minutes of me sitting in it to keep the idle up, just to get it to go to a show, because I have to run it so rich in order for it to shoot the flames it shoots. It shoots a 9.5-foot flame, so for it to do
Yeah,
it has to run stupid rich, stupid retarded amounts of timing
That's
just to
right.
get it to start is a nightmare. Not even that. You have to check the oil regularly. You have to go and you have to check the power steering fluid because it leaks from
Yeah,
time to
but
I think
time.
that's a sign of a true car guy.
But the
is
thing you
checking
gotta
your car
admire is
before
you're not throwing it on. You have a huge truck and a trailer. You're not throwing it on there just to do that.
No.
It isn't a trailer queen.
No.
You're taking it. You
I have no AC.
You basically have the equivalent of
I think that's
Mad
a
Max's
requirement.
Supra.
Yeah.
You know, it's you go out and you run down some people with it. in
Guess how
the
many
desert.
zip ties are on it?
Oh God,
74. I know where all of them are.
you should number them.
I actually know. You want to know something funny about that
One.
car? I know every nut and bolt on the car. I literally have turned every nut and bolt more than twice.
But that's how it should be. And I mean,
Yeah.
the thing
That's
is,
how I was with my Civic.
there's you know,
and you knew it.
people look at it's got zip ties on a car.
Who
There's
cares?
zip ties are sometimes on a car for a reason. You know, I mean, to keep something out of the way, or you added something. I mean, you know, I have two cars that I drive pretty consistently, the NSX and my Lexus.
Mhm.
They both have nitrous systems. There's zip ties on both of them,
Sure.
holding lines and
Mhm.
electrical. I mean, you do a car audio shop. There's zip ties holding wiring anywhere.
My R34's bumper is held on by zip ties.
Now, if your exhaust system is held on by zip ties, you might have a bigger problem.
Correct.
Metal ones will work.
But I mean, like you said, what I'd like to do,
Yeah,
what I'd
pinch
do,
and
and
wiring.
maybe you and I will get together.
Oh,
and do it.
fix
Go Digger.
Maybe
Well,
you and I
I
will
was
get
victim of
together.
a muffler shop, so it broke off, and then I used my dry cleaning hanger to fix it on the side of the
Yeah,
road.
but that's getting home.
Yeah.
Growing up as a kid.
You ain't leave it there for 6 months.
Growing up as a kid, there was a guy named Stan. We called him Stan Zip Ties, and he still has that name to this day. He's in Chicago, phenomenal guy. If you're watching, love you, bro. No BS, 120 zip ties to hold on his exhaust to get home. And he comes to the show, like he gets home, and then he decided he wanted to come out to whatchamacallit. He comes to the thing, he's like, yeah, my exhaust just keeps falling, I keep zip tying it up.
You know what?
And we keep,
How many zip ties on Supra?
there's 74.
Okay, hold on a second.
He kept putting zip ties on this, and he kept wondering why they kept melting off, and not realizing that the actual the hanger
Yeah.
gets hot.
Right.
It was insane.
That's funny.
What's he getting?
I don't know. I knew where they were.
You're gonna get zip ties? You're gonna have me count them all?
No, it's not how many.
That's just a Supra. I have no idea what they are on the Skyline. We have JDM zip ties on it because it came with a zip tied bumper, headlights,
Really?
rear bumper.
Here you go. Here's 75.
Oh my gosh! What am I supposed to do with this?
I keep them for pranks.
That's how you zip yourself to the seat.
No, what you do is you ever want to have some fun with a friend.
A cop had me in these one time.
You take this and you wrap it around someone's drive shaft. And you put it through so it's like that on
So
the
just
drive
flap,
shaft.
flap, 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 flap.
And when they drive down the road, it makes the most horrific sound. You didn't damage their car, and it's hilarious to watch. But anyway,
Being a
Please
Beamer
don't
guy,
do that to my Supra.
being a Beamer guy, the first thing I think is, oh, Greenville's dead.
but so maybe what we'll do one time is we'll do a video of getting ready for a show and showing people what it actually
what it takes, yeah.
Because it's like, yeah. And I'm not talking about, I waxed my car. And
Well, and that leads me to another topic for YouTubers, and that's another thing. Expenses. YouTubers, we spend a lot of money to go to these car shows. Most people think that we get in for free and we get all this stuff for free. That's not normally the case. I mean, sometimes yes, our cover is taken care of, but we have to bring people with us because
Right.
I have to.
None of this stuff is free.
Right. When I do a car show, like for instance, Clean Culture, hands down one of the best shows I've ever been to. I love Nick. I love the crew that does Clean Culture. They're some of my favorite people. I go to every show I can for them. They'll hit me up with like, hey, we got a show in Atlanta. All right. Well, Atlanta's 9 hours from me.
Right.
Well, I have to bring 2 cars. I have to bring a booth. I have to get a hotel. I have to bring 2 kids. I have 3 kids. I have to bring I have to bring other friends to keep people away, so I can actually film and do the things I have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when we go with a crew. We go with
Yeah.
we go with 5 or 6 people. I gotta pay for each individual person. I get in. That's fine. The cars they sometimes let us have in, but sometimes a booth it'll cost money.
I judged for Hot Import Nights for years.
Perfect example.
And traveled all over the country, and it was an awesome experience. You met tons of people. But if it was close enough that I could drive to the event, I would. And it was crazy because I drove my car to Houston for a show, or like you're saying, go up to Atlanta, or you go somewhere, and it's like you're still like and 15 years of Black Ops. The amount I don't even want to think about the amount of money spent. Because you'd see us, we'd roll into a show, 8-10 cars.
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
Like an army.
The first time I physically met you was at a Clean Culture event. I was in Kissimmee.
Yeah.
I believe it was last year.
The most fun. Clean Culture's great. I agree. So is Tuner Evo.
Import Alliance.
Import Alliance. We just
Good one, yeah.
Oh my
Import Alliance.
God.
I've never got to go to one in Atlanta.
What?
And yeah, I know.
Oh
and
my
and what's really
God.
sad about it is we know the guy does it. And
I want to go. I actually this coming year I'm actually getting the Skyline ready for it. We have another project car that we're picking up. We're getting a 240SX. It's got a cool story behind it, but we're actually going to start doing more drift. We're going to do drifting events and start filming more drifting. I like to drive. If most people don't know this, I actually know how to drive. I have an SCCA license for race cars, and I've been doing autocross since I was a kid with my
So
dad.
you're not just a pretty face.
No, I've gotten out at Audubon Country Club. I've done Road America. I've done Sebring. I've done Laguna Seca.
Watkins
I've done
Glen.
I've done some actual track events. I used to race motorcycles, so I know how to apex a corner correctly and all that jazz. So we want to get into drifting. So Import Alliance, huge show, phenomenal. Actually, probably one of the best shows I've ever been
Have
to.
you ever been to Simply Clean?
I have actually. Simply Clean is very.
That is the one. The 2 events that I go to the point where the people that put on the show call me.
Mhm.
Say, because it's a foregone conclusion.
That's
Simply
Clean
Clean,
Culture for me.
Simply Clean, and Festival of Speed in Kissimmee.
Haven't been to Festival.
Ritz Carlton, go with us this year.
Okay.
But hopefully you'll go with us to SEMA this year.
Fingers crossed. It's just a little on the and that's what I was getting to with finances as a YouTuber. We have to pay for all
Right.
that. Like that comes out of our pockets, and
You know what it costs to go to that stuff for 18 years? It's like, we've been going to SEMA since 2000,
right.
and it's it's $1,500-$1,800 every year, and that's before you eat, have one drink,
Right.
anything. And it's this experience that I've done it for 18 years for a reason, but you can't reach that. But like going back to the YouTube part of it, it's the stuff that happens outside the show that I think a lot of the YouTubers miss. Going to the event because they won't let you shoot at parties for the most part and stuff like that, which you can understand because there's a lot of famous people, celebrities and race car drivers and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, I just like to see YouTube portray things the best they can. You know what I mean? And show a little.
I think you have a responsibility as a YouTuber
I
try to
think,
do your best.
I think if you're as soon as there's celebrity involved or people have you have fans, you should have a responsibility.
Correct.
I mean, there isn't a law that says I have to do things right either.
Right. You should.
But yeah, you should.
It's an unwritten rule that
I feel like being a YouTuber though, like people expect you to do something. They expect you to go and 2-step at a mall, or they expect you. I'm known for 2-stepping. That's what my car is known for. It's
Loud and obnoxious.
I would go on record probably saying it's the world's loudest Supra. It literally is. It's 198.
Bring your decibel meters. We'll check this out.
We did 198.
198.
198.3 is what we got. To. So it is ridiculously loud. It's loud enough to crack glass. It's insane. But
I'm not parking anywhere near you.
Right.
now.
you don't ever want to because it is when I was actually two-stepping at Kissimmee, my boost solenoid was actually kind of get on the fritz. It's been on the fritz since California. The last time my car actually hit two-step the proper way was at Super Hill, which was a huge car event where I two-stepped against. Actually, no, it was hitting well at TJ Hunt's garage. After TJ Hunt's garage, then it started getting weaker. So little things about my car, I'm still learning, and I'm still learning how to figure out how to do it. The car was never designed to be a two-step monster. It just happened to be. I got behind TJ Hunt.
Wait till you start having fun with the Skyline and try to look up how to fix things.
Oh, great.
Well, I'm here for you, buddy.
I've already blown a head gasket, so
I'm
it's
here
still
for you,
sitting
buddy.
in pieces. But that being said, like, going from being like a two-step king, two-step crazy, California car scene's huge. All it is revving and trying to two-step and trying to make fireballs. And my Supra was a car that wasn't even allowed to be there, that could do this wonderful thing called two-stepping and anti-lag better than any car there, and everybody went nuts for it.
Unfortunately, California's got such a great amount of cars that are.
They're phenomenal. Their car scene is
except
yeah.
you said
unreal.
Los Angeles for sure is like it's really like the car Nazis, you know.
not even just car. You can't have anything modified in Los Angeles. You can't be lowered, and I don't know how YouTubers do it in Los Angeles without getting
Very
caught.
tough out there.
Like my good friend Chris from the Supercar Suspects, phenomenal guy, and I'm allowed to shout him out because he's awesome. He's building a 1,000 horsepower Evo to drive in Los Angeles.
Right. Damn near impossible.
Coming from an FRS, okay? A bone stock FRS that he put a big giant wing from Battle Arrow, which they make great quality product, but a Battle Arrow giant wing, no body kit, no nothing, put wide wheels, riced it out, films all these crazy takeover meets, gets an Evo, that, this is the best part, it goes from black to Camola red, so now he's got Ferrari Camola red, okay, for his color, and now he's making a 1,000 horsepower build. He's building a 1,000 horsepower Evolution that he's going to drive with a triple disc clutch, which most people don't
One
know.
leg bigger than the other. Yeah.
But they don't know the difference. They don't know what a stock clutch versus a triple feels like. Most people don't know it's an on and off switch. You got to rev that thing to 12,000 RPM just to get it to move forward.
Right. Like an F1 car. They idle at 7.
He's going on E85 in Southern California. By the way, he lives in Glendale, okay, which is heavily populated with nothing but police officers and Armenians who drive like assholes, which is true. And he plans on driving this 1,000
It's a
horsepower.
pretty diverse group of asshole drivers.
It really is. He plans on driving this 1,000 horsepower 4-wheel drive car with R compound tires, mind you, no traction, on an R compound. He's just going to slip and slide everywhere.
Is it registered in California?
Yes, completely gutted out back seats. He's got a fire suppression
I've seen
system.
situations where people will tag them in other
Right.
countries, in other
States. Yeah.
John, a 4B11 making 1,000 horsepower is a low 9-second car that he plans on getting stuck in traffic on the 405 with a triple disc.
Yeah, nobody understands.
He's gonna hate
And for
it.
anyone who has never had the privilege of driving in Los Angeles,
Oh, terrible.
you don't understand what traffic is.
Santa Monica to Huntington Beach,
Yeah.
54 miles.
It,
From 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock will literally take you 7 hours.
yeah.
Yep.
But when you get down there, there's a Pagani dealer, so it's good stuff to look at.
You're talking about Newport Beach, all right? Now we're
Yeah.
talking about Newport Beach Lamborghini,
Yeah.
which is phenomenal. I met Alex Troy there. Great spot.
But once you get these places like Angeles Crest, or you go, we've been lucky enough to have
Canyons.
some cool people to help us
Oh
out.
yeah, the driving
We,
is
we,
nice.
we,
If you
when
can
we were out working.
find
We were out
clean
working in Los Angeles
roads.
a while back, and whenever we fly out there, they always give me like a cool car to drive. And we had a brand new 911, and
Oh my God.
we took it up to Angeles Crest with the Alpha 4C, and we were ripping around. And it's incredible, and I see why everybody does these road test videos up there. It's like
It's incredible.
it's like
Yeah.
someone said, make a road for people to do road testing on,
Right?
and we'll just put it outside of Los Angeles.
There is a hill climb that everyone was like, I'm an idiot to take my Supra. Well, I built my Supra to drive my Supra. I enjoy it. I beat the crap out of it. I get in it and I just bang my gears. There's a road, I forget where it's at. It's right by where I used to live. Anyway, it's called GMR. And GMR is the backside of a mountain, and you have the backside of GMR and the front side. The backside literally starts between 2 gates. You have to drive. It's like 30 minutes into the canyons to get to it. You have to go off on like
It's like
a bridge.
Mulholland.
No. It's on
Because there's a north and south.
I think it's
side of it.
Ortega. I think it's
There's
called
north-
Ortega Canyon Highway. I
There's
think
a
that's what they
north
call
and
it.
south side of it.
It's Ortega. You take Ortega and you go all the way up and through the mountain, then you get to this bridge and you cut over this bridge, you go down, you go through this little town in the middle of nowhere, which is kind of interesting. You go through it at 2 o'clock in the morning because nobody takes their car up there until like 1 o'clock.
Sure.
You get to the gates of GMR, and at the top there's usually someone with their lights on, flashing, telling you it's okay to go. If you don't see any lights on, don't go. or it's the other way around. If lights are flashing, then don't go. If they're not on, then you can go up the canyon. But if you start ripping up this thing, you literally are in first, second, you don't leave second gear. I never left second
So
gear.
you're pulling the whole time.
You are pulling the entire time. You are doing maximum 35, 40 miles an hour.
Those are the best.
You are
Those are the best
razor.
But every corner is like 50 feet away.
It is
Yeah.
switchback, and all you
Yeah.
see is cliff, and what you don't realize is down below, you're talking 5, 6.
Oh yeah. The only thing that's going to find you are the
1,000
coyotes.
feet.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and you're doing
After
it.
the fire goes out.
Right.
But the best part of this is you're ripping up this thing. It's a 2.5, 3 minute run. Your adrenaline's pumping so hard. You're strapped in. You're like, I'm gonna die. You are in initial D. You are drifting. You are ripping. You lose traction. You are dead.
Yeah, it's a
At the top of this canyon is everyone just chilling, smoking
yeah,
cigarettes, and
applauding you
everyone's
if you made it alive.
everyone's just kind of just chilling out up there, and I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I'll race you down the canyon. Race me down the canyon? It's the crazy. It's
And the
crazy.
Supra isn't exactly, not for nothing, the best handling thing in the world.
I disagree.
They're a really big car.
I disagree. I think it drove better than my Evo.
Okay,
And
well, I think it's about the same as an Evo with as far as handling.
Okay.
I mean, if you're gonna
Yeah,
drive,
she's a big girl.
I had an S2000 for a little while with
Yeah.
track tires set up for the track on Öhlins suspension,
that'd be a fun
fully
car
done
to do
out.
that.
Yeah.
fully done out, 6 piston front, 4 piston rear, really nice setup car. My Superdrive's better.
You think it's just because of what you like this?
Nope. I had 305 out back, and it
Well,
just.
next time you go up there and you're gonna go to LA for something, let me know. I'll go.
I would love to go up in something
We'll get
fun.
We'll get some cool rental.
Right? Yeah.
I'd like to get like an M3 and take it up there.
We have a pick of some pretty cool stuff if we got.
Well, I mean, if you got something fun, I like driving.
We
Canyons.
gotta do something. If you go to SEMA, we gotta do something fun on Saturday.
I would love to go to SEMA. The only problem is it's just so expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's even more expensive when you start renting McLarens for Sunday, Saturday.
Oh, have fun with that. I can't afford
Yeah,
that.
but all right. So anyway, check them out, Black Widow Supra, and we'll get you back soon.
Cool.
All right, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me out. All right.